This episode is an ESL listening practice for intermediate learners. You will hear a natural conversation with clear pronunciation and everyday English. No tests, no pressure, just listening. Let's start.
Hello and welcome to ESL Listening Practice.
Hello, everyone.
If you're listening to this right now, I'm going to bet you're someone who's already put in a good amount of work. You know your grammar basics, you can hold a decent conversation, and, well, you're understanding me right now without much trouble.
Exactly.
But maybe you feel a little stuck. You know, you're at that intermediate stage, that B2 level, where you really want to break through to fluency, but the path isn't as clear as it was.
You've climbed the mountain. The view is pretty good. You can order your coffee.
Right. You can get by.
You can get by. But the summit, that feeling of, effortless fluency, it still seems really far away.
It does. And traditionally, the advice to get to that next level has always been, well, the same few things, hasn't it?
It has. Go live in an English-speaking country for a year.
Which is not realistic for most people.
Not at all. Or hire an expensive private tutor, or sign up for some rigid, time-consuming advanced course.
Right. And let's be honest, for most of us, packing our bags and moving to London or New York just isn't happening. We have jobs, we have families.
We have lives. And the time and the money for private classes can be a huge, huge barrier.
It's a barrier. Logistics often stop people from learning before they even start. We convince ourselves that unless we can dedicate like an hour a day in a formal setting, it's not even worth doing anything.
And that is the core problem we really want to dig into today. There's this lingering belief that you need a physical classroom or a human teacher standing in front of you.
Yeah, with a whiteboard and a marker.
Exactly. But the whole landscape of language learning has changed so dramatically. And we want to talk about something that completely shifts that paradigm.
We're talking about a solution that is essentially a personal coach. And no, it's not a person you have to pay by the hour. We're talking about ChatGPT.
Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh, another tech tool.
I know, I can hear it now.
We need to be super clear. We are not talking about using it to just translate words or, write your emails for you.
No, absolutely not. That's passive. We're talking about active practice.
That's the key. We're looking at this as a comprehensive tool. It's not a search engine. It's not a dictionary. It's the dynamic platform where you can practice every single core skill speaking, listening, reading, and writing.
So the mission for our conversation today is to walk you through exactly how you can turn this AI into a speaking partner, a grammar teacher, and I think most importantly, a confidence builder that just lives in your pocket.
And is available whenever you are, day or night.
It's really about changing your relationship with the tool, isn't it? Instead of using it to do the work for you, you use it to help you do the work better.
That's a great way to put it.
So let's unpack this. The first major benefit we have to discuss is just sheer accessibility.
This is the absolute game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the friction involved in traditional learning.
So much friction.
If you want to practice with a tutor, you have to schedule it.
Yeah.
You have to email back and forth, find a time that works for both of you, maybe pay in advance.
And then on the day, you have to be ready at 5 p.m. exactly. And what if you're tired? Or a meeting runs late? Or you're just not in the mood?
Then you feel stressed.
Yeah.
You feel guilty. The obligation can really weigh on you.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like a pre-lesson dread. You want to learn, but it starts to feel like a chore instead of a hobby.
Exactly. With ChatGPT, all of that friction just, it vanishes. It works entirely on your timeline. It's 2 a.m. and you can't sleep.
You can practice English.
You have a 10-minute break between meetings.
You can practice English, no excuses.
And that brings us to a really crucial concept, which is the 10-minute rule.
I love this.
Yeah, there's this fascinating idea in learning psychology that says even 10 minutes a day brings significant progress, often more than, say, a huge 2-hour session once a week.
This is so important because it just completely fights against that all or nothing mentality I mentioned. We think, if I can't study for an hour, I won't study at all.
Right. And this approach says, hey, 10 minutes is infinitely better than 0 minutes.
Infinite.
It's all about consistency over intensity. Intensity is, studying for 5 hours on a Sunday and then doing nothing for the next 2 weeks because you're completely burned out.
Yeah, and you feel like you failed.
You do. Consistency is doing 10 minutes every single day. The brain learns language through repetition and constant exposure, not cramming.
So these short bursts, they prevent burnout. They keep the English active in your mind.
Exactly. It becomes part of your daily rhythm, like brushing your teeth, rather than this special event you have to gear up for.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's really dig into what a learner can actually do in those 10 minutes, because sometimes having the time isn't the problem. It's knowing how to fill it productively.
Good point.
If I have 10 minutes while I'm waiting for the bus, what do I do with the app?
The versatility is incredible. In just 10 minutes, you can do what I call surgical strikes on your language skills.
I like that. Surgical strikes.
Yeah, you can ask a very specific grammar question that's been bugging you all day. For example, what's the real difference between make and do? And get an instant, clear answer with examples.
No more scrolling through forums and getting 10 different opinions.
Exactly. Or you can ask it to teach you 3 new vocabulary words related to a specific topic, like cooking or finance or whatever you're into.
So you're customizing your learning on the fly.
You are. You can also practice a specific sentence structure you're struggling with. Maybe you want to get better at using conditional clauses. You can just ask it, give me 5 sentences using the third conditional.
Or just get explanations for confusing concepts. That's a big one for me. Instead of digging through a textbook, you just ask, explain the present perfect to me like I'm 5 years old.
And it does. It's instantaneous. You're turning those dead moments of the day, waiting in line, sitting on the train, into these little micro-learning sessions.
And because it's always there, in your pocket, you capture those moments of curiosity.
Yes.
You know, when you're walking down the street, you see something and you think, I wonder what that's called in English, or how would I describe that?
And then you forget it 30 seconds later.
Exactly. By the time you get home, the thought is gone. With this, you can just pull out your phone and ask immediately. You close the learning loop instantly, which is so much better for memory.
It really is. It reinforces the knowledge right in the moment of discovery.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. We've talked about accessibility, but we need to talk about how you interact with it.
Right.
Because most people, when they think of ChatGPT, they picture a text box. They think of typing.
And that's a huge, huge missed opportunity. If you're only typing, you're only practicing reading and writing, which are important skills for sure.
Of course.
But for most intermediate learners, the biggest hurdle, the thing that causes the most anxiety, is speaking and listening. And a lot of people just don't realize that the app has a voice feature that, well, it essentially functions like a telephone call.
It creates a completely different dynamic, doesn't it? When you're typing, you have time. You can edit, you can delete, you can rethink a word, you can even open another tab and look something up.
You get a safety net.
Yes. When you're speaking, you are on the spot. You have to think and process in real time.
Precisely. This telephone-style chat shifts the cognitive load entirely. You're now training your ears to understand a synthesized but very natural-sounding voice, and you're training your mouth to form thoughts into sounds instantly.
It's the bridge between passive knowledge, you know, the stuff you know in your head, and active usage, the stuff you can actually do in a conversation.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
Okay, so let's give the listeners a bit of an audio guide here. I want everyone listening to picture their phone screen. You've got the ChatGPT app open. Mm-hmm. Normally, your thumb goes right to that text bar at the bottom to start typing, but we want you to look for something else.
Right. Look at the bottom right of that message box. Now, depending on your version or update, there's usually a small icon. It might be a microphone, or sometimes it looks like a pair of headphones.
It's very easy to overlook if you're not looking for it. It's not the main feature they advertise.
No, it isn't. And the action is so simple. You just tap that button, and the screen changes. The text kind of fades away, and it brings up a visualization of a voice, like a little bubbling circle or a waveform.
It signals to you, okay, we're in conversation mode now.
And then you just talk. You talk exactly like you're on a phone call. You say, hello, how are you today? And the AI listens, it processes what you said, and then it answers you back with a voice. It's a fluid back and forth conversation.
Now, a quick bit of troubleshooting, because nothing is more frustrating than hearing a great tip and then it fails immediately when you try it.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're checking your phone right now and you don't see the icon, or maybe it isn't working, what should you do?
Okay, 2 main things. First, check for app updates. This is a feature that they've been rolling out and improving constantly, so if you're on an old version, you might not have it. Go to your app store, check for an update.
Simple enough.
Second, and this is the most common issue, check your phone's settings. You have to give the app microphone permissions. If your phone thinks the app isn't allowed to listen to you, the feature just won't work.
Great advice. So once you have that set up and running, The benefits of this voice mode are just massive. It targets the exact skills that usually require a human partner.
It hits 4 key areas perfectly. First, obviously speaking practice, just the physical act of forming thoughts aloud.
Which is a skill in itself.
It is. Second, listening skills. You have to understand the AI's responses without reading subtitles. Third, pronunciation. This is a great one. If the AI understands you consistently, you know your pronunciation is clear enough. It's like an instant check.
That's a great point. And the fourth.
And finally, confidence. The sheer repetition of verbalizing English, of having these low-stakes conversations over and over, it just helps you feel more capable and less hesitant.
That confidence piece is huge. I think it leads us perfectly into the next major topic we need to talk about, which is the fear factor.
The psychological barrier. This is, I would argue, the biggest single obstacle for B2 learners.
Yeah.
You know the words, you know the grammar, but when you open your mouth to speak to a native speaker, you just freeze.
Oh, absolutely. It's that fear of making a mistake, the fear of sounding stupid, the fear of being judged.
Yes. You worry that the other person is secretly correcting you in their head, or that you're taking too long, or that you're just wasting their time.
It's a very human reaction.
It is. In linguistics, we call it language anxiety. Raises your affective filter, which is just a fancy way of saying your stress level goes up and your ability to learn and perform goes way down.
So when you're stressed, your brain literally can't access the language as well.
That's right. You might know a word perfectly, but in that moment of high stress, you can't find it. It's just gone.
So how does an AI partner help with that specific anxiety?
It creates a safe space. Think about it. ChatGPT does not judge you.
No.
It doesn't get impatient. It doesn't roll its eyes if you use the wrong verb tense. It doesn't look at its watch if you take 10 seconds to find the right word. It doesn't have an ego. It has no feelings to hurt.
That is such a liberating thought. It removes all of the social pressure. If you say something that's completely nonsensical, the AI just tries to understand you or it asks for clarification. There is zero embarrassment.
Exactly. And because that embarrassment factor is gone, you become willing to take risks. And risk-taking is absolutely essential for learning.
That's where the growth happens.
It is. You try out new words you're not sure about. You experiment with complex sentence structures. If you mess up, who cares? It's just a machine. You can just say, sorry, let me try that again.
You can't really do that in a high-pressure business meeting, can you? Sorry, everyone. Let me just try that pitch again.
Not really, no. But with the AI, you can restart that sentence 5, 10 times until you get it right, until it feels smooth.
And that completely reframes the whole concept of mistakes, doesn't it?
It does. In a classroom, a mistake often feels like a failure. You get a red mark on your paper. In this context, mistakes are just data points. They're part of the process of calibration. The AI helps you see mistakes as a tool for improvement, not as a source of shame.
Plus, it allows for what we're calling real conversation simulation. Unlike a textbook exercise where you just fill in the blank, this flows.
Right.
It mimics the unpredictability of a real person. You don't know exactly what it's going to say back to you, so you have to genuinely listen and respond naturally.
It prepares you for the real world, but without the consequences of the real world. I like to think of it as a flight simulator for English learners.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Pilots don't learn to fly by just hopping into a 747 with passengers. They spend hours and hours in a simulator where it's okay to crash. This is your simulator. You crash here, so you don't crash out there.
I love that. So, okay, we've got the simulator ready. We have our headphones on. We're ready to talk. But then the next problem hits. Writer's block, or I guess in this case, speaker's block.
Right.
I've got the app open. What on earth do I actually say?
That is a very common hurdle. Okay, I'm ready. Hello. It can feel a bit awkward talking to a machine at first.
Yeah.
So we've come up with a set of scenarios specifically for intermediate learners to just get the ball rolling.
Let's run through these because I think having a plan is the best way to overcome that initial awkwardness. So scenario 1 is daily life topics. Sounds simple, but it's actually a great warm-up.
It's the foundation. You can talk about small talk, your hobbies, or you can just describe your day. You could literally say to the AI, hey, I had a really busy day at work today. Let me tell you about it. And just start talking.
And that helps you practice narrating your life. It's great practice for past tense verbs. I went, I saw, I did.
Exactly. It's low stakes, and it just gets your brain switched into English mode.
And you can ask it to role play too, can't you? Give it a persona to make it feel less like a robot.
Oh, absolutely. This makes it so much more fun. You can say, pretend you're a friendly neighbor I just met at the park. Or pretend you're a barista at a coffee shop. Or pretend you're a tourist asking me for directions.
The role play element gives you a specific context. It forces you to use the right vocabulary for that situation.
It does.
Okay, let's move to scenario 2. This one's a bit more serious and I think very high value. Job interviews. This seems like a gold mine for people looking to advance their careers.
The value here is just astronomical. Job interviews are so high stakes. You're nervous, you have to sell yourself, you have to think on your feet.
It's the ultimate test.
It is. And practicing this with an AI is brilliant. You can give it instructions. I have a job interview for a marketing manager position. Ask me 3 difficult questions.
And then you have to answer them on the fly. That pressure is really good practice.
It is. And here's the best part. After you answer, you can get feedback. You can stumble through an answer, realize it was weak, and then say, okay, that wasn't very good. Let me try again.
And you can even ask the AI for advice.
Yes. You can ask, how was my answer? How can I make it sound more professional? Did I use the right terminology? It helps you refine your elevator pitch and your key stories until they just flow naturally.
That feedback loop is incredible. Instead of walking out of a real interview wondering if you sounded okay, you get immediate critique during your practice. Okay, on to scenario 3, travel English.
This is great for anticipating problems. I mean, we all know how to order a coffee. 1 latte, please. That's easy.
Right.
But what happens when the airline loses your luggage?
Oh.
Or what if you get to your hotel room and it smells like smoke and you need to ask for a new one?
Oh, those are the stressful moments. That's when you panic and all the English you learn just flies out of your head.
Precisely. So you simulate them. You tell ChatGPT, pretend you're the hotel receptionist. I'm checking in, but I have a complaint about my room. Let's role play. And be a little difficult, so I have to convince you.
I love that. Making it a challenge.
Yeah. You get to practice being polite but firm. You practice the specific vocabulary of travel reservation, deposit, cancellation policy before you're actually standing at a counter in a foreign country feeling stressed.
I can see how that would reduce anxiety so much. You've already lived that difficult conversation once, so doing it for real feels like déjà vu. You're prepared.
Exactly.
Finally, scenario 4, business English.
This is for all the learners out there who use English at work. Maybe you have to give a presentation or negotiate a contract or just participate in a weekly conference call.
Which can be terrifying.
It can. So you can practice your professional terminology. You can say, let's discuss the quarterly sales figures, and practice using those important linking words like furthermore, however, consequently, and therefore.
It helps you switch out of that casual mode and into pro mode.
Precisely. And mastering that switch in register is a key indicator that you're reaching an advanced level. You can even ask the AI to play devil's advocate.
What do you mean?
You could tell it, I'm going to pitch you an idea for a new project. I want you to disagree with me and ask me really hard questions. This forces you to defend your ideas logically in English, which is a very, very high-level skill.
Wow. That's taken it to a whole new level. And that leads us perfectly into our next section, refining language and understanding nuance. Because at the B2 level, it's not just about being understood.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the subtle details, right?
It's about bridging that gap from B2 to C1. And one strategy we found incredibly effective for this is the explain like I'm 5 strategy.
I use this all the time for complex topics, not just language. How does it apply here?
Well, sometimes a standard dictionary definition is just too complex. It uses words you don't know to explain a word you don't know.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. With ChatGPT, you can demand simplification. You can say, explain the difference between irony and sarcasm, but explain it simply, like you're talking to a child.
Or my favorite prompt, give me examples. I find examples are often so much better than definitions.
Absolutely. Give me 3 clear examples of how to use the word inevitable in a sentence. This helps you grasp the concept first in simple terms. Once you've got the concept, then you can build up the complexity.
It stops you from getting bogged down in academic jargon. You build a little ladder for yourself to get to the understanding.
That's a great way to think of it. A ladder.
And what about when we get things wrong? We mentioned error correction earlier.
This is a major, major differentiator from a human conversation. In a real chat, if you make a small grammar mistake, people usually ignore it. They want to be polite.
Of course. They just want to keep the conversation going. They're not going to stop you mid-sentence and say, actually, you should have used the present perfect continuous there.
Right. That would be incredibly annoying at a dinner party. You would lose friends very, very quickly.
You would.
But with an AI, that's exactly what you want. You can use the prompt, why is this wrong? If you write a sentence and the AI corrects it, don't just accept the correction. Ask why.
So you understand the logic.
Yes. It'll explain the mechanics. It will say, you use since here, but you should have used for, because you're talking about a duration of time, not a specific point in time.
And that's the aha moment.
Yeah.
That's how you stop making the same mistake over and over again, because you finally understand the logic behind the rule.
You do. And then there's the whole aspect of sounding natural versus sounding like a robot. We all know that textbook English is so different from real spoken English.
Oh, yeah. How do you do? I'm fine, thank you. Nobody, and I mean nobody, talks like that in real life.
Nobody. So you can use the tool to learn real expressions, phrasal verbs, idioms. You can ask it, what's a common slang word for tired? Or how do young people say something is cool?
But also the flip side of that, polite English.
Yes. Register and tone are crucial. This is so important. You can take a direct and maybe slightly rude sentence like, give me the report, and ask ChatGPT, how can I say this more politely to my boss?
And what would it say?
It might suggest, could you please send me the report when you have a moment? Or, I was wondering if you've had a chance to look at the report yet.
That is a career-saving difference right there.
It really is. It teaches you the nuance of social interactions. It helps you navigate the cultural aspects of the language, not just the pure grammar. It stops you from accidentally sounding rude or too informal in a serious situation.
We focus a lot on speaking, and rightly so, but I want to touch on writing improvement for a minute before we wrap up, because even though speaking is the main goal for many, writing is where we often have the time to really analyze our language.
That's true. Writing creates a feedback loop that's very tangible. When you write, you have a physical record of your thoughts and your mistakes.
So what's the method here?
It's very simple. Write a text. It could be an email you need to send for work, or just a journal entry about your day. Paste it into the chat, and then ask for corrections.
But not just fix my grammar, right? We want to go deeper than that.
Correct. You want to ask for better wording. The magic prompt is, how would a native speaker write this? This is key. It might fix your grammar, sure, but it will also suggest stylistic changes that make you sound much more sophisticated and natural.
It's like having a professional editor looking over your shoulder 24/7.
It is. It accelerates your writing style so quickly. You see how the AI rephrased your sentence, you compare it to how you wrote it, and you learn from that gap. Oh, I see. They use the word collaborate instead of work together. That sounds much more professional.
And you absorb those improvements for the next time you write.
You do. It's an incredibly powerful way to level up your writing skills.
It really does seem like we're looking at a complete, comprehensive tool here. So, to bring this all together,
to summarize it, what we're really seeing is that ChatGPT can act as your personal English coach. It's available 24/7. It completely removes the fear of judgment. It allows for infinite repetition and practice.
And it provides instant, clear explanations for things you're confused about.
Exactly.
It replaces that pressure with progress. It replaces that I have to schedule a lesson dread with the I can practice for 5 minutes right now. Freedom.
And that is the key takeaway. It's not about replacing human interaction forever. That's not the goal. The goal is to use this tool to build your skills and your confidence so that when you do get the chance to speak with a real person, you're ready. You're prepared. You aren't paralyzed by fear anymore.
So here's our final call to action for you listening today. If you have the app on your phone, open it up after this. Find that little microphone icon we talked about and just say hello. Just start a conversation.
Don't worry about what to say. Just tell it you want to practice English. Ask it to correct your mistakes. And just see where the conversation goes. Commit to just 10 minutes.
It might feel a little weird for the first 30 seconds, I'll admit. But trust us, once you get into the flow of it, it is an absolute game changer.
It's all about building that habit. Stay curious, keep exploring what it can do, and use this amazing technology to serve your learning goals.
Thank you so much for joining us on ESL Listening Practice. We really hope this gives you a new perspective on how to use the tools that are probably already in your pocket.
Keep practicing.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye and happy learning.